Hello, so a breakdown of UsdChf. A trade I took this week with a risk reward of 1 to 3. It was a very good trade. As you can see, it performed quite well from the entry point, which was somewhere at this point. So just do a quick analysis to show what I looked at before I took the trade. As usual, I start with the higher time frame. In this case, I used the weekly time frame. So if you can check from the weekly time frame, price has been trading, to the upside for quite a while. We had this retracement, and we had a retracement, and price got rejected at this zone here. And then we've seen, price, it's continued to push higher. So looking at how last week behaved, last week's candlestick, you can tell that price was still very bullish here. So from the lower time frame, you just want to continue looking for the same, price direction. So in this case, I used the 1 hour time frame for entry. So on the 1 hour time frame, all I'm looking for is a bullish trade. So first of all, I'll mark where the week started. Monday was on 17th, so that's where Monday started. So on Monday, you can see price started with a drop first. So when price is dropping, remember we already know that the higher time frame direction is bullish. So even if we see price selling, the trade that we are looking for is a bullish trade. So in this case, I was trading using demand and supply. So because it's a bullish trade, you want to trade using a demand zone. So whenever you're trading in the demand zone, I've explained this in my previous video. You can watch the link in the description. When we have this impulse, let's say from this point to that point, you want to come and look at the point where the impulse move started, which is here below. So at that point below, you want to come and mark this candlestick, the high of that candlestick, and the low extend to the right. That becomes a demand zone. So it happens like that. It's just this. It's a continuous series. So if you check carefully, when price traded to this demand zone at this point, there was actually no indication of being bullish. Because in my previous video of trading using supply and demand, I mentioned that if you want to be profitable using this strategy, make sure you wait for confirmation. So here I was looking to see if I was going to get any bullish confirmation, but instead price continued dropping with very long body candlestick, so that's not a good sign to be looking for a bearish trade. So if that demand zone fails, you move to the next demand zone. So it's just important to know that not all demand zones work. So it's you to mark them on the chart and look at where price will react. So we come and look at the previous. We had this impulse from this point to that high. So I'll come and look at where this move started, which is here. So that becomes the area where I'll be marking my demand. So where the move started, you look at this first bullish candlestick, mark the high of the candlestick to the low, draw a rectangle and extend it to the right. That becomes our next demand zone. So we want to see if price is going to react at this point. And guess what? When price got to this point, we had a very clear pattern. As you can see, we had these small candlesticks which were playing from here. Then we had one breakout candlestick at this point. Let me mark it. We had one bullish breakout candlestick. So when you have this bullish breakout candlestick, that is now a sign that you want to get into your trade. So what I always advise is don't jump into this candlestick at the very top, because if you jump in here, price is likely to retrace somewhere at the middle. So I always come and mark somewhere in the middle of this candlestick, and that's where I look to get my entry. That's exactly what I did. So I had my bullish entry exactly somewhere at this point after price retraced. My stop loss was roughly 40 pips and my take profit was 120 pips, and it got hit. So basically that's how I got the 1 to 3 risk reward. Very simple, using supply and demand. In case you missed that video, make sure to watch it in the description box.